Yeah, actually, I have to agree. Fuzz Fork 8 Wok Wednesday should be used to try new things. I am very much interested in trying new things. For me, this will be my first time making chicken fingers, so I hope that counts. Hi there. Welcome, everybody, to Cast Iron Wednesday. This, of course, is a long-range tradition that a number of YouTube cooking channels have been doing for the past several years. We do a cast iron video on Wednesdays. I mean, that seems pretty straightforward, but that's a tradition that a lot of these smaller channels have been doing for some time now because, well, it's a lot of fun to cook in cast iron. And so, of course, this makes a good excuse to have something to look forward to. So once again, we are doing Cast Iron Wednesday, especially since this is about this. We have just passed the 4th anniversary as well of doing regular YouTube Live videos on this channel here on my channel. And welcome very much to everybody to my channel, Cast Iron Chaos, where we are indeed going to be playing with cast iron tonight. And hello as well to everybody who has been kind enough to show up here tonight. And I do hope the sound is working tonight. I mean, I know last week we had some difficulty with that. But good evening to everybody, to 4M Morris family and Mercy B. And hello, Bacon Lady. Welcome very much to this channel. I do believe that's a new name, and it's nice to meet you. Hello to Rick Stumbow and Val's Black Cats Rules and Corey Clark, and a lot of names that we have indeed seen here on a regular basis, which is always fine. And hello to Flash 1499 and Cynthia Wesley. And hi, Bacon. And hello to hello to everybody who's been kind enough to visit here tonight, where indeed this is Wok Wednesday, although it's kind of like sort of Wok Wednesday tonight, just because of how this all turned out. Namely, that well, let me show you the star of the show that we are going to be cooking in tonight. We do, in fact, have here on my stove the Lodge 14-inch cast iron wok, which I have been which has indeed been one of my favorite kitchen users for really going on since I first acquired this wok in 2011. Although right at this moment, we're actually we're going to be doing some deep frying tonight, rather, which is instead in the Birmingham Stove and Range Red Mountain number 8 Dutch oven. You know, I had considered actually doing deep frying here in the wok, maybe, and then making stir-fried rice in the Dutch oven. But then I realized, you know, that's probably better to do it the traditional way, largely because a Dutch oven is fantastic for deep frying, whereas a wok, of course, while a wok is good at deep frying, but you really can't beat a stir fry in a wok. So we are going to be doing it, as I said, in the way we usually do. So the first thing I'd better do, check the temperature of the oil that we have here in the wok, and then we better get started on the batter here. Okay, because I have been slowly heating up. Put this over here. Don't want that to go. And let's get this over here for the moment as well. I have indeed been heating up about a quart or so of canola oil in this Dutch oven. Naturally, we are aiming for the magic number of 350 degrees. At this point, we are at about 220, looks like 235, maybe slowly approaching 200 degrees. So 250 degrees. So we are not doing too badly here. That means we do indeed have time to put together our deep fry because because this is Wok Wednesday, I had wanted to, as I said, I got the idea of doing one of those Americanized Chinese takeout dishes that everybody loves and you always get with your poo-poo platters and your takeout, and that would be chicken fingers. My plan was to make chicken fingers in the wok until I looked up the recipe, where it seems that chicken fingers are in fact deep fried, which means in order to do this properly, I had to pull out the best deep fryer in the world, which indeed would be a cast iron Dutch oven. And so that's where we are at this time. And okay. And William, I thought I had to put out an APB. And hello as well to William Hurt And to okay, then let's wish Corey a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Corey. If you're only 23, oh man, I remember back when I was 23. The longer ago than I care to admit, unfortunately. But nonetheless, as I said, since the temperature of this oil is climbing, we better get started here because I still have to put together a batter here. Because again, we are doing chicken fingers tonight, and actually, I found the recipe rather intriguing to do your typical chicken fingers because it does include a couple of ingredients that you wouldn't expect. Apparently, really, if you want to do takeout style chicken fingers, you've got a couple of ingredients here, including self-rising flour, and for the liquid, we use fizzy water, seltzer water. That apparently helps to put a good crust on this. So I am indeed looking forward to seeing how this all turns out. Now we're talking about half a cup of self-rising flour. I don't have self-rising flour, which means we will fake it in the way that we usually do. So we get started here with half a cup of self-rising flour, or at least half a cup of your typical all-purpose flour. And then put this away so that it doesn't spill all over the place. And to this, we mix in baking powder. And voila, we will have self-rising flour. Since we have about half a cup, I'm going to use like maybe about 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder with this. And maybe a little bit more. There we go. And once we mix all this in, we will have self-rising flour. And it's as easy as that because, yeah, I've said enough times. Actually, I forgot to get out my whisk. There we go. I've said enough times that I'm a cheapskate. And I really did not want to pay for a whole package of self-rising flour when this was all I was going to use. Meanwhile, in addition to this, we're also putting in half a cup of cornstarch. Just about all wok recipes use cornstarch in one way or another, which is one way, again, that we get a good crust on these things. So I think I'm going to have to do it in quarter cups because apparently the half cup is too big for this package. And I got to be careful about cornstarch. You know what it is about cornstarch? If you're not careful, you always end up getting it. Come on, there you go. You're always getting it all over the place, and I really don't feel like doing that. Okay, there we are. So we've got equal amounts of so-called self-rising flour and cornstarch. So this is definitely going to be an interesting batter here. Come on, let's get the rest of this out. Yeah, I know. It's cornstarch. What do you expect? Of course, I'm going to get it on everything. So let's put this cornstarch aside right now. Okay. Now that we've done that, the only other, let me see, we got 1.5 teaspoons of salt coming up. This is the half teaspoon, okay. Nothing difficult about the rest of this. I mean, really, it's pretty much the same as, doing any other kind of fried chicken. It's only that the ingredients are a little bit different that we're using for the coating. 1.5. And we're also using half a teaspoon of sugar. Yes, that's sugar. I'm not kidding. Sugar as well. All right. We will mix this together, and that's pretty much it. It's a very simple coating here for this. I mean, it's definitely not KFC we're talking about with the 11 herbs and spices and everything like that. Looks like we've used a total of 6 different very basic ingredients here. But to this, here is where the interesting part comes in. In fact, before I add the liquid, I think I had better get out the chicken. Right. Here it is. Okay. Get this out right now. And we've got sliced up chicken breasts. Earlier this evening, in fact, I sliced up these chicken breasts and I, in fact, mixed in some salt and some white pepper for these things to marinate. And they've been doing so for about the past 3 hours or so. And having done that, let's see what else we have here, by the way. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. Mrs. Rocket cooked a fine supper tonight. Nice. Fried potatoes in the Wagner City. Well, that sounds good. That's for sure. Corey, babe in arms. Okay. I do hope folks are, yeah, as I said, if there is any problem with the sound, folks, please let me know. I am, in fact, using a new microphone tonight. I mean, after last week, I wanted to be sure that we don't have any more sound problems. So hopefully you folks can hear me okay. Anyway, here we go. Now from this, here is where we start breaking our seltzer water and we mix it in to make a very fizzy batter. In fact, you know what it is about seltzer water. I've really got to be careful with this thing, and I've got to open it slowly. Otherwise, it will go all over the place. Like that. Shit. There we go. By Jove, I believe we've got it. All right, patience is a virtue once again. And now, let's start mixing it up. Okay, good, we're still on camera, right? We're supposed to use about half a cup of this. Probably enough there. Better put the cover on this thing so that it doesn't end up spilling all over the place. And let us start with our batter. All right, we're supposed to get a nice thick batter here. Obviously, we don't want too many lumps in it. And we are off to a decent start so far. There we go. Actually, that wasn't hard at all. Maybe I should have doubled the batter, in fact. Well, if need be, we can always put together another batch, because as you can see, this really was not too difficult. All right. While we're doing this, let us mix in at least some of this chicken. Mix it up into batter. And just like that, we are ready to do some deep frying. Oh yeah, this really isn't so hard. The ingredients are a little unusual, but hardly anything that you can't get at the supermarket. I mean, this big bottle of seltzer water was $1. So yeah, actually, this really seems like the type. Well, it depends on how it turns out. I mean, the important part is how it tastes. All right. Yeah, it does look like I am gonna have to do another batch of this though, because I'm trying to get it coated as best as I can. And while we're waiting on this, let's see here. Enjoying Castor and Cookie. Well, yes, hello, Bacon Lady. Well, again, watching ham radio YouTube. Well, that sounds good too, that's for sure. All right, let's try. Oh, somebody suggests using polar cranberry and lime seltzer. That's an interesting idea. Maybe the next time we do this. Let's head over to to the stove. Pull out the probe thermometer. And right now we are still, it's still slightly climbing. We are just passing 300, well, actually 310, 311, 313. So that's not so bad, which means I can turn up the temperature now. Because of course, when all of that cold chicken hits this hot oil, there is going to be a big temperature drop. So for that reason, I should probably aim for a temperature of maybe about, I like doing it to about 360 for that reason. I think I better pull the mic. This is what I get. Now I'm gonna have to, once again, I'm gonna have to get used to using this using the mic here. I was using that clip-on mic for more than a year, but now I'm using a stand mic once again. So actually, folks, I do have to ask as well, does the sound seem okay? Is my voice too soft? Is it too loud? Kindly let me know if I may need to adjust or reposition the mic at this point. Trying to center this over the burner as well. YouTube's stupid. Yeah, they posted the live and they blocked it too. What? Oh, YouTube blocked you? Well, that's interesting. I wonder how necessary the seltzer water is. Baking soda releases carbon dioxide when mixed with water. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yes, I have to admit. Granted, thinking that over, I suppose that makes sense. Basically, I just discovered this recipe and decided to go with it. But the baking soda might be something to consider. What happened to the sound? Is there no sound? Sound is excellent. Oh, sound is just fine, they're saying. Okay. Well, no, what happened to the sound was last week when the sound was cutting out bad enough that I had to restart the live a total of 3 times. And that was because the clip broke on my clip-on mic. So, and as a result, I am now back to using a stand mic, although I am using what I hope is a high quality stand mic, that's for sure. All right, let's see how we are for temperature at this point, especially since I've turned up the heat, and it looks like we are at 339, 340. Okay, we are getting close at this point. Maybe a couple more minutes, I'm hoping, and we will reach at least 360 or so, at which point then we will be ready to do some frying. And in fact, I should probably even turn the view around a little more to here, largely so that you can see. As you can see, I also have a rack here, to drain the chicken once it comes out of the pot. Did Miss Mobley get enough belly rubs? Oh, she never gets enough belly rubs. In fact, this is her routine every night, is that the moment I go upstairs and go into bed, she jumps right up for her nightly scritches. So yeah, yes, and I do love that. I love that she really enjoys it that much. Having just recently gotten a thermometer like that, cooking by temp rather than guessing. Yes, bacon lady. I learned my lesson a few years ago, especially at Thanksgiving, that really cooking by temperature is essential. There are so many things that will really work better when you use a thermometer rather than guesswork, especially things like poultry and chicken. You know how people often say that they say that they fry their chicken and the inside is still undercooked. Well, using a thermometer will take care of that. And again, as I just mentioned, then of course there is the question of the Thanksgiving turkey. So definitely, my hammered, Jim Glathar, my hand hammered carbon steel wok will arrive today from China. Nice. Oh, that sounds like it's going to be fun. Oh, are we having buffering here? Uh-oh. Mercy B is getting buffering. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. All right. If anybody else is, I'll be concerned. So yeah, let me know, folks, if there's any problem with that. At this point now, we are at 350, 357, 364. Oh yeah, this temperature is going up pretty fast. I think it's time now to fry. If at first you don't succeed, fry again. Here it comes. That means, oh yeah, I did forget one thing. Got to dig up my tongs. Where are my tongs? Always seem to forget something. Actually, better yet, I could use a slotted spoon. So let's get started. Carefully. All right. So far, so good. And I don't believe I'm crowding it yet. As I said, I was concerned about the temperature drop, but again, that's why I turned the heat up to compensate for that. There we go. That is the first batch of chicken. Now, at this point, we got the spider here. Oh, yeah. Sheesh, it looks like everything's clumping together here. And that's not what we want. No, and for that matter, I don't want this spill out. I don't want to get oil all over the place. Definitely gotta get my tongs. My apologies. All right, because I did not expect that. Okay, here are the tongs. As you know, the law requires that you give your tongs a test click before you use them. Okay, there we go. Boy, are these things all just plain stuck together. All right. So far, so good. Did not expect that, that's for sure. Maybe I did crowd the pot. However, despite that, it does sound like it is cooking okay. I'm getting a nice popping sound here from the oil. And I'm trying to be careful to avoid any splattering. Even though it's bubbling nicely, it does not really seem to be splattering, so that's good. Come on, there. All right, getting a little better now. I definitely did not expect them to clump together like this. That's all right. Just work on it. Holy cow. Shit. Look at this. Yes, indeed. Here comes the chaos, folks. Something unexpected. In that I actually have to tear these pieces apart here. They are separate pieces of chicken. Just the batter just seems to have immediately stuck everything together here. All right. Now remember, I'm dealing with hot oil here, so I can't be too hasty. There we go. Well, this is not going to look like restaurant-style chicken, but I still hope that it tastes like it. All right, now we're starting to get somewhere. Now we're getting individual pieces here, for the most part. There we go. Well, that was something unexpected. However, at this point, the crust is just starting to change right now from white to just beginning to brown. Of course, what we're looking for is that golden yellow color that we get in those takeout chicken fingers. Besides, with the cost of everything going up these days, well, this was the cost of a couple of chicken breasts. I mean, all the rest of these ingredients were pretty common. As I said, that seltzer water cost all of $1 for that big bottle. And the rest of it was just, cornstarch, salt, sugar, flour, baking powder, and that was about it. Right, now we're starting to get somewhere. There we go. Okay. Now I think we're good. Phew. All right, I'm sure it'll be super yummy. Well, I certainly hope so. And yes, indeed, I did, in fact, get some cornstarch on me. What a surprise. The blob, the thing, the day the earth stood still, those were the good old days. Those were actually before my time, but I definitely did see them. I saw them on TV, not in the theater, I'm afraid. Blob, The Thing, The Day the Earth Stood Still, which is a magnificent movie. A number of them I have collected, and I still have them right now on DVD and Blu-ray. I refuse to go with streaming video. I would rather pay for these movies, and then I'll be able to watch them whenever I want and not have to pay for them. And also, I can watch them without an internet connection. Yeah, now we are indeed starting to get somewhere. I just gotta stop fiddling with them. But nice so far. Oh, yeah. I'll watch myself with this oil here. Shit. All right. Carnival of Souls, The Screaming Skull. That's what I don't like about new oil. The light color can be deceiving and then it gets overcooked. I love the old school way. Yeah, well, of course, it's hard to say what old school is. I mean, it's hard to believe that Star Wars is old school these days. Well, the original Star Wars, not all of these new Disney series. But yes, indeed. I am going to make a point of reserving this oil. Probably do a little bit more frying maybe tomorrow, for instance. That actually is starting to sound like a plan, because I'm probably going to be having more kids over as guests. I'll keep them away, of course, but it'll definitely give us something to do. And it'll be much cheaper than getting takeout. Yeah, the more I think of it, the more I'm liking that plan. Still, hey, look how this is turning out so far. Nice. It still has a ways to go, but we're definitely making progress. I have some nieces and a nephew who would be all over eating batches of chicken fingers. Oh, yeah, chicken fingers. That's one reason why I chose this. This is one of those dishes everyone loves, especially kids. I mean, I know when we're grown up, we like things like General Gao's chicken, for instance. But the chicken fingers are usually something that the kids always go for. They tend to turn their noses up at things like General Gao's chicken when they're young. Maybe even the crab rangoons. So things are looking nicely already. That's the other thing about using a thermometer, by the way. I'm going to check these to make sure that they are, in fact, done on the inside as well as the outside. Of course, when you fry them like this, even with white meat, it's okay to take it a little over 165. I mean, the whole point of 165 with white meat is that it can start drying out. But when you do it this way, this really seals in the moisture. That's one reason why people love fried chicken and even deep fried turkey on Thanksgiving. All right. While we're waiting, let me see. Let's move this over here again. While we're waiting, let's put the rest of the chicken into the rest of the batter and see if we can make it all fit. I may have to throw in some more ingredients, especially that flour. But let's give this a try, shall we? Actually, this doesn't look too bad. I do believe we may have just enough here. Nice. But yeah, this was a very easy batter to make. I'm seriously considering now that you've said that, I think I may very well get some chicken pieces tomorrow and make this same batter. May not be KFC, but I don't think kids will mind it. When I'm saying kids, I'm talking teenagers, by the way. Yeah, that wasn't so hard. All right, let's get back here. things. Hang on, I've got to spin around again because of this cord. There we go. Thank you. Sorry for the roller coaster ride, folks. Alright, so looking for a top and I'm looking for a bottom now. We gotta stay nice on this channel. Don't think any dirty thoughts here. Raymond Burr was added later to the appeal to Americans. Oh yes, you're talking about Godzilla, and yes, that is absolutely true. I splurged a couple of years ago and got the original Japanese Godzilla. And quite frankly, that is even a much better movie than the Americanized Godzilla. Gojira. And if you have not seen the original Japanese version of Gojira, I highly encourage you to do so. It's most certainly worth it. This is getting worth it too. As I said, how these are turning out. At this point, they are approaching a nice golden stage. I should probably hit this with a thermometer to see whether or not, in fact, the chicken is done. Let's get out this probe. Careful. Again, I don't want to get oil all over myself. And also, I don't want to fool the thermometer. So, in we go. Oh, wow. This thing is, if this is accurate, this thing is already over 200 degrees. Let's try digging in a little deeper. Oh, yeah. No, this thing is, I'd have to say, we may very well be done already here. All right. That didn't take very long. Yeah, look at this. This is just now turning golden brown. All right, then let's get these things out onto the rack. That was, quite frankly, easier than I expected. Here's a spider. The spider I've had for years. Got it at obviously at a Chinese market. There we go. To drain and cool off. And if the oil is hot enough, as I hope it is, we could put in the second batch. Things are doing pretty good here. As I said, this may be one of the easiest deep fries I think I've done, quite frankly. I've done fried chicken a number of times, and it took a lot more effort than this, that's for sure. But we are definitely off to a start so far, folks. All right. Now, from here, let's test the temperature of the oil once again. What are we cooking in? We're cooking in canola oil, for the record. Nothing fancy. So far, this is showing 301, 313. And this temperature is shooting up pretty fast, too. From the looks of it, we'll just wait a couple of minutes. And then we should be once again at over 360, and we'll be able to do the second batch of chicken. It is that's what you mean, what we're cooking in, not canola. Well, it is canola oil, but yes, you're absolutely correct. This is a Birmingham Stove and Range Red Mountain Series Dutch oven. Okay, good. The lid is cool enough to touch. So, yeah, the lid, here we go. The lid is what identifies this, in fact, as not just a Red Mountain Dutch oven, but a handwritten Red Mountain Dutch oven. Managed to acquire this last year, a very lucky eBay score, in fact. And so, yeah, I am quite proud of this, and I'm really glad to be able to get some use out of it. Especially glad to be doing some deep frying, because it really, where cast iron is concerned, deep frying is a great way to add seasoning to your pots as well. The spout is the giveaway. Yes, BS&R was, as far as I know, the only major manufacturer that had pour spouts on all of their Dutch ovens. I believe some large Dutch ovens had pour spouts, but many or most of them don't. So yeah, this is definitely a giveaway as being a BS&R Dutch oven. Oh yeah, the other interesting thing, I showed you that this is a handwritten series pot, right? You notice how small this pour spout is? Everybody talks about, and most of the time it's true, how the older Red Mountain series had much larger ears and pour spouts. Whereas the pour spout on this one is so small, practically non-existent, even though this is in fact again, this is a Red Mountain series Dutch oven. So the thing about BSNR, as far as the researchers can tell, is that I mean, while it is true that many of the older Red Mountain pans did in fact have large ears or pour spouts, it's not absolute, and they seem to vary in size even back in those days. All right, we are now at 120, 130, 150. Okay, yeah, the temperature is shooting up on this again. So definitely time to get the rest of that cold chicken in there. So here comes part 2, and this time I better make sure it doesn't all clump together. I saw what happened last time. Maybe I might want to try putting this in one piece at a time, perhaps. Hopefully it'll make it less likely to clump together. Anyway, cold chicken, hot oil, and the result is you get a nice crispy crust. And I can see I'm going to have to do the same thing and probably break these pieces of chicken apart. Which, if that's what I have to do, then that's what I'll do. Because after we did that, that first batch actually turned out, it looks like it turned out not bad at all. And the last few pieces, yay. This was very easy. And seriously, as I said, this may be perhaps one of the easiest deep fries I think I've done, and I'm enjoying that. Granted, there was indeed some prep work. As I mentioned, I marinated this chicken in advance. And right now, once again, I have to break these pieces apart again. Otherwise, they'll all clump up. That's not so bad. But yeah, I am liking this batter. It is seriously making me think that I'm going to use this batter again. I have it in my mind to do a deep fried whole chicken sometime soon. And I'm seriously thinking that this batter may do well on a whole chicken. Come on. These things are definitely sticking together, though. Once, before my mom passed on, I did indeed do a deep fried chicken for her, and she loved it. That was a good excuse to use the Poiki pot, in fact. That thing is very, very deep and an excellent deep fryer. All right, little by little. And I don't want to do this too quickly because, again, I don't want to splash oil all over the place. That would not be fun. All right. Almost there. Okay. So, how's Wok Wednesday doing so far? Where I haven't even used the wok yet. No, but I am making Chinese, that's for sure. This is definitely, well, Americanized Chinese. Chinese takeout is not Chinese. It still tastes good, though. That's one reason why it's so popular. All right, now we are getting somewhere. It does look like these pieces have been broken up. But yeah, I am seriously thinking, as I said, of making the same batter and doing some chicken tomorrow when those teenagers come to visit. All right, there we go. So far, so good. Now for some comments. I made some old school wings for friends in Albany, New York, who never had the real thing. They love them. Oh, that sounds good, Val. Cast iron restoration cleaning pans, really? Yeah. put less chicken in the pan, about 5 to 6 pieces at a time. Yeah, I tend to think you're right, actually. I mean, granted, I only have so much time in this live. I probably could indeed have split this whole thing into maybe 3 batches instead of 2. But despite having to tear these clump pieces of chicken apart, they now seem to be doing nicely on their own. Oh yeah. And meanwhile, let's take a look and see how these have turned out. These are looking pretty good, if I may say so. All right, here's your new guy twister, Wok Wednesday. Well, thank you so much, 4M Morris family. I got a scrub of 14 spider. Oh, nice. Sounds like fun, Hog Wild. Shit. How did the bread taste? Need all bread details. I have put the recipe for the bread on my website, Cast Iron Chaos. If you go to my recipe section, Adventures in Culimancy, you'll see there's a section there for bread, and I put the recipe for the sandwich bread on there. The second loaf in particular tasted wonderful. I think I mentioned the first loaf I found was overproofed. I think I actually done it too quickly and the yeast spoiled slightly. Not to the point where it tasted bad, but you could definitely taste that very slight alcoholic flavor to it, which indicates, just that the yeast was spoiled. However, the second batch, the one that I actually prepared during the live video, that one I put in the refrigerator to slowly rise overnight. And then I baked it the next day, and that one was absolutely wonderful. And I included the details in the recipe, which again is on my website. So that was my experience in making sandwich bread. And like I said last week, that was my first time making a properly risen loaf of bread. The one where you rise the dough, punch it down, and rise it again. I've made pizza dough many times. My pizza dough has generally turned out okay to good. I have made, what else have I made? Oh yeah, I've made no-knead bread a few times. It's turned out okay to good, but I'm really happy with how that sandwich bread turned out, especially the second time. I mean, that shows me again that I am definitely going to be more of a fan of slow rising the dough rather than quick rise. All right, about to roast my guinea fowl. That sounds good too. Yeah, that was a great learning experience with the bread, and I agree too. That's why I did it, especially because I had never made bread like that before, and it was one of those things I wanted to do. So I used the live as an excuse to do it. Just like this is actually my first time making these chicken fingers. And as I mentioned, this is turning out to be, once again, one of the easiest deep fries I think I've ever done. The chicken, as I mentioned, making fried chicken has taken a lot of effort and often left me exhausted. This, in comparison, has been much easier, especially since I can just as easily save this oil and reuse it tomorrow, which is definitely sounding like a plan. In fact, maybe I'll just do this, make these chicken fingers tomorrow. Because again, they're teenagers. I think they prefer chicken nuggets to chicken on the bone. I do still have a couple of breasts left. Well, then I'll compromise. I'll use those, and I'll make a couple of drumsticks as well. Besides, actually, tomorrow is my very last day of work before 10 days of vacation. 1 week and 2 weekends. So I might even do that tomorrow to celebrate. On the other hand, if the weather is nice, I need to mow the lawn tomorrow night. Oh, we'll work it all out. All right, so far we're looking good here. Once again, we're starting to get to that golden look, although I can see maybe a couple more minutes. All right. Anyway, after this, you know what? I do believe it's time to start heating up the wok. And yeah, so that we can actually use the wok on Wok Wednesday. How about that? Because after this, as I promised, we are going to do some fried rice. You better cook 10 more pounds for them growing kids. Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me something I don't know. Shit. I like dipping chicken strips in honey or la choy sweet and sour sauce. Oh, that all sounds good, yeah. Yeah, that is the truth about kids, that's for sure. They are bottomless pit eating machines. I mean, this little batch of chicken here so far would probably have been gone already if those kids were around. But I do like how easy that batter was to put together. Anyway, okay, I had fried gator and it had the texture of chicken but didn't taste like chicken. It's been years since I've had gator. I had it once and I don't think it was cooked very well, unfortunately, because I remember it having kind of like a rubbery consistency, unfortunately. One of these days, maybe I'll have the chance to cook gator and we'll see how it turns out. That's because they eat fish. I had fried snake in Phoenix. I think it's called Eat the Rattler. Well, I would try it if I had the opportunity. I've said many times, and I have no intention of backing down from this. I am very much interested in trying new foods that I've never tried before, and I would indeed try fried or cooked rat if it was properly cooked right. I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity to do that. And here's the part where I mentioned for you folks in Louisiana, and I know there are a couple here, nutria, the giant Louisiana swamp rat. So it's entirely possible that someday I may indeed have the opportunity to try nutria, and in fact try cooked rat. A few years ago, I made grasshopper gravy, and the person who was helping me film the video, she just started tossing her cookies right there. The gravy was actually pretty good. We are getting close to that point, though, so we are just about done here. All right. I draw the line somewhere before rat. I had squid once, fish-flavored rubber bands. Yeah. I've gotten frozen gator a couple of times. It was really fatty. For those who know it's supposed to be like that, question mark. And I don't have the answer for that, I'm sorry to say. Actually, I better dig out my phone and take a picture of this because this would make a nice thumbnail shot for this video tonight, I think. Okay, so let's get the camera and quick. There we go. For the record, I also have the ingredients ready for the fried rice, so that should also be easy to put together. If you come to my house, we'll have calamari. Snapping turtle soup is favored here too, and muskrat love. Shit. So yeah, there's a question. Why do people like things like muskrat or even possum or squirrel and not rat? Well, I know the answer, of course. Rats are filthy. They carry diseases. So do the other rodents, admittedly. But yeah, there is indeed a stigma to it, a stigma that people would need to overcome. Kind of like, I kid you not, and I saw this on I think it was the BBC just last week. They are actually making. It seems like some company in England is actually making. Is actually selling horse milk. So no, I won't go into any more detail than that because I don't think I need to. I mean, that's the thing. There's just this ew idea to it that many people would not even dare to try it. Would I? I don't know. If the opportunity comes up, ask me then. Raccoons only eat fresh food. All right. I'd say from the looks of it, we have in fact done the second batch of chicken fingers. I do believe, in fact, it's reached about the same color as the first one. So I get to turn this heat off here for the moment. Start digging out these extra pieces of chicken. Whoops. Now I'm glad I turned off the fire. But yeah, check this out. Whoops. Now I'm getting oil all over the place. Okay. There we go. Spread this out over here. And lo and behold, we have chicken fingers. All right. This is actually a lot easier than I thought. You know, the next time on Wok Wednesday, like you said, we'll try something different. I might actually go for Indian, for instance, do some Thai cooking as opposed to wok cooking. But we'll see what happens in a month. Besides, now that we've done all this, time indeed to get ready to actually use the wok. How about that, folks? Yay! All right, because, and again, this actually has oil on it. That's why it's on the rack. But still, here are our chicken fingers. Especially these days, you know how much this big batch of chicken fingers probably would have cost at Chinese takeout? As I said, this was only 2 chicken breasts. Large chicken breasts, but still, 2 chicken breasts sliced up with a very simple and inexpensive batter. So this was definitely cost efficient too. I certainly will not have any problem with that. All right, so far so good. Means better start cleaning up my knife a little bit. Let's get this out of the way, because now comes part 2. Move this over here. Move this too. All right. That means oh, good. This is nice and hot. I like that. So we can turn this off for the moment. And yeah, I want to move the wok over to here, to keep the splatter down and to keep it from splattering on these other kitchen utensils over here. So that means I better be careful. Do not want to spill oil all over the place. Put the lid on. How are we going to do this? Oh yeah, I know how. Fortunately, I happen to have a cast iron pan or cast iron griddle sitting right here. So that means I can put that thing of hot oil onto here safely. If I move it slowly so that it doesn't spill, that is. There. All right, that means we can get back here. My gloves, because I saw that was indeed steaming or smoking. Move that hot wok over to here. Turn on the heat. And now we are getting ready for part 2. Stir-fried rice. Too many good things to eat. Well, if that's the biggest problem you have tonight, then you are doing pretty good. Flash $14.99. There we go. I think we have a good view right now. All right, that means stir fries, as you know, are pretty fast. So let's see how we're going to do this. I'm going to start. Actually, I'm going to have to do a couple of eggs. Also means I'm going to, okay, I have a bowl right there, but I need one more bowl, which is here. And onion. And my spices are over there. And the last thing I need to do before we're ready is get out the rice. I prepared the rice earlier this evening, spread it out in this big bowl here so that as much surface area could be exposed as possible to dry out the rice, so that we will have some decent fried rice here. All right, that means I believe we can get going. Okay. A new Nepalese restaurant opened near us. The food is so good. We've gone there at least last 3 Saturdays. All food cooked on wood stoves. Wow, that sounds awesome, Bacon Lady. You sounds like you're very lucky. Congratulations. I'm glad you enjoy it too. I couldn't eat dog or cat. Yeah, well, that's a cultural thing. That's for sure. It would take something. Yeah. No. Okay. I'm not even gonna get into that subject, Val. To be honest. I wasn't given forewarning. I trusted her cooking. Okay, now that we've done this, it's time to dig out my favorite wok shovel, which I know I have told the story of this wok shovel already. All right. And let's get started. Thing about stir fries, of course, is, again, there is actually a pattern or a procedure to follow to get the best stir fry you can get, as opposed to simply throwing everything into the wok and then just stirring it all up, which works, but if you do it the right way, it works a little better. All right, that's peanut oil this time. And I'm not using a full quart of peanut oil, that's for sure. Not with how much it costs these days. Okay. Now that we've done that, spread the oil around. All right. And move this a little closer. While the oil is heating up, let us very quickly, don't want to break it. Let's move over here a little bit. There, that's a little better. The light was too strong. Let's quickly crack some eggs. 3 eggs to be precise. 1. 2. I'm glad I brought that to room temperature. And 3. There we go. Now that we've done that, time to fork it up and we can get started. All right, in fact, we need a better view of the wok here. That's a little better. And with that, that sure didn't take long, did it? Where did that go? There it is. Right, shall we? Yeah. Oh, I'm doing a pretty terrible job on this, that's for sure. All right, so far so good. So this is going to be egg fried rice. Okay. And having done that, and it seems like there's still a couple of bits of egg in here. Well, I better be careful not to burn them. However, now it's time to start throwing in some onions. There we go. Don't worry about the oil as well. The rice is going to absorb it. To this, throw in a little bit of minced garlic. And I regret I mad at myself again because I checked only a little while before this live video started and saw I was out of fresh ginger. Which means I'm going to have to compensate, unfortunately, and use ginger powder. Fortunately, I buy my ginger powder in bulk. Basically, I go to an Indian, India, the country store, where they sell gigantic packages of things like powdered ginger at dirt cheap prices. All right. Having done that, now we're getting a familiar scent here. Because before this ginger burns, and yes, I know Uncle Roger would probably be laughing at me for this. I don't know, maybe for a future video I'll try to do a proper stir-fried rice in the manner that would make the professionals, well, not want to kill me. All right, but for now, it's time to throw in the rice. Boy, look at this. One way to do it. That was interesting. It seems to be in sheets. But anyway, there we go. As you can see, the rice absorbs the oil. And it gives gives that distinctive flavor of, well, fried rice, with garlic and ginger in it. Now, because the rice is already cooked, it's really just a matter of getting it good and hot. It definitely will not take long in this cast iron wok, that's for sure. I know I say this every time we do wok cooking. Just a point that I understand that the large cast iron wok is very different from your typical Chinese wok. It is thick and heavy. I cannot pick this up and toss the food around, unfortunately. So that's a skill I have not developed, I'm sorry to say. On the other hand, a thick and heavy wok like this is fantastic in a typical American kitchen where you cannot make the blasting heat that you would get at a Chinese restaurant, especially if you have an electric stovetop. I cooked on an electric stovetop for 11 years before I moved into my current home, which has a gas stove. And the large cast iron wok was definitely one of the first cast iron pans that I bought myself. And I have been using it almost weekly, going on now for 13 years. So I am quite happy, and I definitely consider it to be one of the best investments I've ever made. All right, let's see here. Vouch for that. Yeah, exactly. Nothing worse than dog. Okay. And the dog leaves the room. Scrambled eggs. Yes, exactly. Why are you stirring so much? Well, partly because it's a stir fry. And this is a habit that I tend to do, it seems like, of constantly stirring and prodding the food where, as you say, I know I should probably sit and let it actually cook a little bit. Also, again, that's one advantage of having this in a nice and hot cast iron wok as well. Especially since I had the heat. For the record, I have the heat turned up to about 7 on this particular stove here. In fact, let me show you that. I had accidentally dripped a little bit of oil as I was showing you, but so I actually have to wipe up some of this oil that I spilled. Nonetheless, the dial itself, if I'm showing this right, I know that's a very poor angle. Let me change that angle around a little bit. There we are. As you can see, I'm like maybe about 3/4 of the way too high on this gas stove because I frankly find that this is about the maximum temperature. Excuse me. This is excuse me again. This is about the maximum temperature you need for cooking in cast iron on a gas stove top. It will indeed get everything nice and ripping hot so you can do a good stir fry. Blasting your stove on maximum on a regular basis does in fact run the risk of warping a cast iron pan. Yes, I said that. It is possible to warp a cast iron pan on your stovetop. And I know there are some folks, including me, who have the experience with that to confirm it. This wok here, for instance, is warped. This large cast iron wok, which is perhaps a 1/2 inch thick or more at the very center, I actually managed to warp this wok when I was first learning how to cook in cast iron, because I was regularly blasting it on maximum when that was simply not necessary. Always stirring the pot. Yes, exactly. I like stirring the pot. What can I say? You need a carbon steel wok with a handle to toss. Yes. Sweet spicy orange. Yeah, the only one I know to wear. Yeah, wear through a large cast iron wok. Yeah. Shit. No, this is not number 3. I'm glad to say it is still the original cast iron wok. This one is indeed a spinner, and yet I'm still using it on a regular basis. Only because, in a way, warping a cast iron wok like this is not necessarily a bad thing. Sort of. Because what does a warping do? It creates a hot spot in the very center. And what do you want in a cast iron wok? You want a hot spot in the very center. So this may be the only cast iron pan that warping it did not ruin it. And for that reason, I'm quite happy with that. All right, meanwhile, now that I've gone this long, let us add a couple of things. Like, say, for instance, some MSG, not too much. This is a flavor enhancer, not a flavor itself. White pepper. A little bit of soy sauce, you know, the good stuff. Yeah, that is a dark soy sauce, so that is going to color this very quickly. Finally, throw in the egg. Egg fried rice. There we are. And with that, it's only a matter of making sure everything is good and hot. Okay. I heard fried rice is nice with day-old rested rice, so it has time to absorb moisture. I haven't tried it yet. Yes, that is. I agree with that, actually. Day-old rice is probably the best thing to use for making fried rice. I kind of cheated in that only about maybe 4 hours or so ago, I made this rice. But then I put the rice, as I mentioned before, I put the rice into this big bowl with a lot of surface area and spread it out thin and put it in the refrigerator uncovered to dry it out. And it did that for about 3 hours before I used it. So as such, I would say this is still producing some pretty good, at least, fried rice. So there we are. All right. Anyway, like you said at the beginning, I am interested indeed in trying new things here in this wok instead of just stir fries. That's one reason why I end up doing deep frying tonight. Next month as well on Wok Wednesday, as I said, I've kind of had the idea, if I can remember it, of trying Indian cooking and doing a kadai dish rather than a Chinese dish. Kadai chicken, perhaps. And we can see how that works. Well, for that matter, Jamaican jerk chicken is also prepared in a big pot like this. So maybe that might even be in the cards. I mean, you don't have to just make Chinese in a wok. It's very popular, I intentionally made these chicken fingers tonight, especially because they are so popular. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I am indeed a fan as well of trying new things. Any extra onions you get? Oh, yeah. extra safe around me, right? Can't turn my back a minute without being accused of being the onion thief. Shit. Anyway, yes, Tessa, as I said, that was a trick I used, especially to dry out this rice and make it the way you're supposed to make it with fried rice. So here is the result. I would say we have fried rice, especially to go with our chicken fingers. Look how these turned out, too. I'm actually quite happy with this. However, I'm going to have to try at least one of these chicken fingers to make sure it turned out okay. What a shame, I know. All right, let's check one of these chicken fingers. Yeah, I'm liking this. So anyway, there we go. Fried rice and chicken fingers. Something that you would normally order in Chinese takeout, American Chinese takeout. These days, the cost of these two dishes would probably come to more than $20. Boy, it's tough living in today's world, isn't it? Whereas I'm certain the cost of making this at home was perhaps less than half of that. Because as I mentioned, most expensive thing were those chicken breasts. The batter was easy to prepare, nice and simple ingredients. And this, of course, is just egg fried rice. Nothing to it. So, yeah, I mean, it's nothing really that we haven't heard before. Mainly that not only can homemade be maybe as good as what you get in a restaurant, it is a lot less expensive. And when you're on a budget, like many of us are, that's a good way to, what can you say? This is certainly one way to save money. Especially since, again, I'm going to let this oil cool off overnight. And I will use it to make chicken for my guests tomorrow. I did throw garlic in it too. Yes, I did actually throw minced garlic into this. Where's the broccoli? I had considered that actually. I mean, you could put all of the usual things. You could put chicken into this, of course, and broccoli, and the tiny little baby corn, mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I just wanted to stick with this very simple and fast fried rice tonight because, we are, in fact, approaching that time here. We managed to, Kendall beer. Nice. Make egg rolls with that. Yes, I could certainly do that. But, yeah, as I said, I do believe we are getting into this time here. But, yes, I do agree, really, for Wok Wednesday next month at the end of September, I do want to try something a little different or out of the ordinary. And, well, we will see how that turns out because at this point, your guess is as good as mine, but we will certainly find out. So anyway, what can I say? That was, once again, the Lodge Cast Iron Wok. And also a Birmingham Stove and Range Red Mountain Dutch Oven, which, as you can see, is a great deep fryer. It made these delicious, this is too high, made these delicious chicken fingers, which I'm definitely going to have to foist on my guests as well so that I don't end up eating all of those. I mean, what can you say? It's all deep fried food. I really am at the point where I should not be eating all of that stuff by myself. But there we go. As I said, this again has been Wok Wednesday. But thank you, everybody, as well. By the way, for your comments and for, I guess, hanging out for the entirety of this YouTube live here, because that's really the part that I especially enjoy. The part, the fact where I know that I'm actually taking part in this with all of you and not just by myself, because it definitely gives me incentive really to have fun doing this. That's really the one reason why I do these videos, live videos and otherwise, because you folks here make it so much fun. I can only thank you so much for that. And Bacon Lady, I like fried rice at home better than eating out. Yeah, especially these days, doesn't it seem to be? Woke Up Wednesday or Wok Wednesday is always a hit. Well, I certainly hope so. Then thank you very much, Rick Stumbow, as well. And thank you as well for coming into my kitchen, Val's Black Cats Rule. And thank you for opening up thank you again coming into my home. And I can only ask that everybody, if you're entertained, do the usual, hit the subscribe button, like, subscribe, and share, and all the usual things. And a reminder as well to everybody, it's for at least a lot of us, we've got a long weekend coming up. We've got Labor Day coming up. And I actually have a plan for Labor Day. I did mention that I've really gotten in with a new family of friends. That's one reason why I'm having these teenagers coming over to visit tomorrow. Well, on next Monday on Labor Day, I intend to take my Bayou Classic Dutch oven and burner out to their home and set it up right there in the parking lot so all the neighbors can gather around and we'll all have fun. And I'm going to do yet another jambalaya for everyone, which I think it would be a nice way to spend the day on Labor Day. So that's something to look forward to. And I can only hope as well that you folks here have some fun cooking this weekend and really every day as well. But yeah, with the weekend and the holiday weekend coming up, what can we say? Have fun and keep safe. That's always the best thing. And that is yet another reason why I love cooking in cast iron, because it is so much fun. And yes, exactly. Jambalaya. And thank you again to Stephen O'Neill and to Cynthia Wesley and William Hurt and Rick Stumbow and Hog Wild Cast Iron. Did you get the handle? Oh, yes. I'm sorry. You mean this. Yes, indeed. I did indeed get the handle. Thank you so much. As you can see, I still need to toss it into my lye and restore it. He was kind enough to send me a handle for that tortilla press because I had found a tortilla press at the flea market which did not have a handle. Now we have a handle. So yay. That means yet another toy to play with. And a jump on my laboring day. Oh, I got a jump on my laboring today. Well, I hope it was a good thing, Cynthia Wesley, as well. So yes, and thank you so much to everybody, and thank you, William Hurt. That's really what I enjoy. I enjoy making people feel good. It's something that I've enjoyed pretty much my entire life. And but I won't get into too much of that because I don't want to sound too sappy, especially since we are getting close again to 9:30 here on a Wednesday night. I got 2 4-day weekends off in a row. That's also pleasant, Bacon Lady. That means if you're like me, you're probably planning some extravagant project to do. I have little doubt about that. And so I can only say have fun and enjoy yourself. That's really probably the most important thing. And likewise, thank you to everybody, folks. Block party. Yeah, we are having a block party on Monday. Thank you to everybody for coming by because, of course, again, we've got the rest of the week here and then the weekend. And then, we've got Cast Iron Wednesday coming once again next week. The first one in September, which is traditionally a cast iron discussion. We will go from there and see how it all turns out. And we will do it all over again next week. So thank you very much to everybody. Have a good evening, folks. And as I always like to say as I end these, just a quote from my favorite movie, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Speaking of classic movies, see you next Wednesday.